Thank you very much.
All right, we have a motion by Councilman Winfield. I don't think we really need a motion. Yeah, Councilman Benham, you want to? Let me go ahead, Deputy.
Mr. Johnson, did you bring a copy of the resolution that was prepared?
No, sir, I don't have a copy of the resolution. At one time, this committee did pass around 2 or 3 months ago a similar resolution. I would think that it's part of the record in this proceeding, but by the time it got to this council, it was deferred until that time for further consideration. But this committee did pass a resolution, and that's similar in context to the same kind of concerns that we're raising here tonight.
Mr. Benham and my colleagues, what we received was an ongoing effort by Attorney Johnson and the former council member in the area, Councilman Tommy Linton, in the preparation of a resolution that would set up a task force committee that would be dedicated to trying to answer problems of violence and fear in our community. And if recalling just off the top of my head, I'm sure we can get the resolution from our parish attorney, but one of the members was a school board member,
Former chief of police.
Former chief of police. The chief had recommended and accepted that a former chief could serve, and 2 or 3 others. It was a 5-person committee, as I recall, 5 or 6-person committee. It was pretty broad-based, but yet it had a directed effort to work with government and work with the community for one particular concern, and that was the violence and the fear that's creeping in our community. And they would, in turn, this committee, once they would brainstorm together and perhaps hold public hearings, they would be able to come back and recommend to us or to the mayor some direction on where we should be going, or perhaps where we need to go. Is that
My only was specifically what you were moving for, and you obviously don't have the resolution here. Before we would pass on that, I'd like to know how we're going to go about that, and specifically who we're going to appoint on it. I don't have any problem supporting it.
Let me see. Hold on a second. Resolutions are easy to do. It's just the Metropolitan Council pass a resolution to form a task force to look into violent crimes, the crimes being committed in the city of Baton Rouge and in the parish of East Baton Rouge. And be it resolved that we form a task force made of 12 members, and each one of the council members get an opportunity to appoint a person to the task force. That way you can get the input that you need, and then we'll come back and make a report in 120 days. That sound like a simple resolution? I mean, it's all on tape. I mean, Councilwoman Roby.
I just think, why don't we present this before the committee? I mean, if you're just gonna flip it off like that, then people are just gonna think they didn't really give any thought to it. I think it needs to come back, let us discuss it, and do it in a manner so that this time maybe we will follow through on it and not just say, well, let's just throw it out there. It can be done in a matter of minutes. It can't be done in a matter of minutes, and we don't want it done in a matter of minutes. So if it's okay, somebody can put, Don, how do we do this? Put a resolution for the next meeting, F&E committee, let it come to us and let us hear it.
Councilwoman Ruby, I tell you what, since we don't want to pull one out of the sky today, I tell you what we do. We'll take it and we'll go to the full council and we'll have a resolution prepared by the end, and then we'll have something that the full council can accept next week. Now, yes, ma'am, and I just want to say this right quick before I finish. You know, this is something that we're trying to do, and I appreciate it. But I've been on the council, and I'm not fussing. I've been on the council when resolutions that were manufactured right here, and we passed them. But okay, we're going to get it written down so that we'll know where we're going. We're not putting it out of the sky, and we want to get some answers to the problem. But we want to have the input of the entire Metropolitan Council, all 12 members. You will have your choice of individuals to appoint that task force. And we'll sit down around the table, discuss it, and see where we're going here in East Baton Rouge Parish, and see if we can curtail the violence. Councilwoman E.
Thank you. I was interested, and I was looking back here to see if Chief Barris was still here, because I know that
you and, Mike Morris with our community policing, you're already doing a lot of this, because I know you've helped us, and we've tried to do some things over in Valley Park. Some of the people that helped me with that are here. But, I think we need to coordinate all these efforts, because we short of manpower, and let's don't all be off. We're trying to accomplish the same thing, and let's coordinate them all. Because I think if we could have gotten that safety tax passed, you have a splendid program that I think does just what you're trying to do. And we've been trying to do it, piecemeal and with, the best that we have available. But, I would just like for you, whatever comment you'd like to make, because I think we're trying to do all this, and let's be sure we're all working in the same ballpark.
Okay, we have any, Mayor?
Thank you very much. I heard some of the comments in my office as I tried to do some desk work, and I thought maybe it'd be appropriate. I'm not certain exactly how some of this information has developed to this point. In November of last year, we had crime, Had You Had Enough, the major town meeting in which over 1,000 people came. From that town meeting, we've had 14 meetings across this community discussing with grassroots individuals their fears and concerns about crime in the community. We have had a fear and violence committee working now. We have had the anti-drug task force developing information for the past 4 years. We have been in contact with people all over this country. For you even consider an issue on the basis that nothing is being done and nobody cares is to be operating in a vacuum. I have to question, where have you been? I attended 12 out of the 14 meetings. And some of you, if I recall, in those 12 meetings, I never saw you. Okay, all I'm saying is, this is a great idea. We can't do enough. But don't act like we're doing it because nothing is being done. I've dedicated my entire existence almost to this issue and this problem. I have been out 12 nights in the past 6 weeks with Operation Takedown. Monday night from 8 o'clock to 2 o'clock in the morning, I was on the streets talking and dealing with people on the problems of crime and homicides in this community. Let's just make certain that everybody understands that there has been and continues to be. And WT, your effort went directly to the Fear and Violence Commission that was already ongoing before you even started the process. They will work with you. Anti-Drug Task Force will work with you. All the information that we've accumulated from the major town meeting and the 14 meetings that we've had since then is available to you. We've also had other efforts ongoing. We've had 5 communities that have been working under a grant to develop grassroots efforts to try and deal with this issue. And I agree very much with Mr. Johnson that the real answer lies in education. And we will join hands with anybody and everybody as an administration to try and wrestle with this issue. All right. You cut me short?
No.
Okay.
When you do.
I wouldn't think so. I think that I think it's very important as you move forward with this issue that you move forward knowing that the train has been on the track and moving for years. And if you want to start a new train at some distance in the past, fine. But if you want to join forces with this one, we welcome. In fact, we've been looking for anybody that would participate in this effort. Thank you.
All right, Mr. Winfield.
Yeah, Mayor, I need to say with no deference to your efforts, and I realize that you have been involved with a lot of projects to resolve some of our concerns. But there are urgency in the air in our community. I know you feel it, you've communicated it, but we in the inner city, and I know you be out there all the time involved, but let me tell you, we got a problem. Now, several months ago, you talked to me about this particular resolution that we have here, that Attorney Johnson brought up. You said we had an ongoing task force. I communicated with Dr. Frank Campbell, if that's his name, recommended to him some people to help him, to serve, or even just be invited to a meeting. And to my knowledge, not one of those persons have even been invited to the meeting. Now, I understand you're taking the lead, but if we're gonna have a task force or a committee on the side addressing some of the concerns, they ought to be listening. They ought to be reacting along with you. And I don't hear that. And it's obvious there are some people that don't hear that.
I can assure you that your involvement or participation and support of your effort as a group here, the task force, will get the full cooperation of everything we have going. I know the urgency. That's why I proposed and you approved a $360,000 budget supplement to the police department to deal with it. That's why you approved $200,000 for demolition to deal with. That's why we have on record in just recent times almost $600,000 worth of effort directed directly towards this problem. This council has been very conscious and very supportive of our effort. I'm only offended today by the insinuation that you're going to start something because nothing has been done. And I want you to know full well that this administration can document the fact that we've been involved for a lot of Monday night at 1 o'clock, well, Tuesday morning at 1 o'clock, I was on Gus Young Avenue working with the problems within your district. I've been in Dallas district and all over personally dealing with the people, talking with them, trying to find solutions to these issues. So I just want to make sure that when we start in the spirit of cooperation, not on the basis that you have to do something because nobody else is doing it. We've been there.
Mayor, I definitely want to apologize if you got that inference that we felt, or I felt particularly, that you haven't taken the lead on trying to resolve this problem. Because I know you have been working with it. But again, I want to stress, we haven't gotten a response from that committee with those persons to know that there is that support out there of working. And, you know, it's a different, if you're in the middle of a crisis, everybody's trying to resolve the crisis and not looking at the long-range plan, not making recommendations to help. I was under the impression that this task force would be setting aside, taking more of an objective view rather than working from crisis on a daily basis, that you're doing a good job and taking the lead and helping us with. But on the objective, policy, planning to make recommendations, we haven't gotten that response. That committee hasn't invited us. So it's no difference to you as the mayor, no difference to the government for their involvement. But definitely that committee should have responded in some form or fashion to the request that we've made. You have a question, Attorney Johnson?
Yes, I would just like to publicly comment that this is not an effort to suggest nor to imply that the mayor president of this East Baton Rouge Parish and City of Baton Rouge has not done what he, in his wisdom, and this council has not done in its wisdom to focus in on this problem. I wanted to publicly thank the council and the mayor for the effort that's been expended in this regard. However, I think that in light of the 57 homicides this year, in light of the increasing availability of handguns on the streets of Baton Rouge, that it's incumbent upon us to prioritize this and focus additional energies and efforts to bring this community together to comprehensively see what we can do further than where we are. And I don't want you to imply that we've not done anything. Certainly, we've done something. But the record that we will set this year long, we can count them, will perhaps be around 90 homicides this year. And we're gonna get like all these parishes before it's over with. That's what we want. But I hope that we can do something beyond where we are. And I'm not down here to suggest or imply that the mayor has not done a good job. I'm simply speaking out of concern. And when I see a 12-year-old child that has lost his life, then I must speak again to the concerns that this community must attempt to address. This is where I'm speaking from, out of concern, out of compassion, out of love and consideration, not in conflict, but out of that. And no longer can we sit by and allow this to continue to occur in this community. It's time out. And I will be derelict as a school board member and as a citizen of this community if I will not speak concerning this particular issue.
Any other council members have any other comments at all? I just like to go on record and say one thing. First of all, I didn't say anything was being done. That's number one. Number two, Attorney Johnson approached me about the number one problem that we see in the inner city is the use of guns and homicides. I attended some of the meetings also. I was at two of the meetings, one over at Struman, the other one at McKinley. So I understand. And not that the committee is not doing anything, not that the committee is not concerned, not that all of what's happening with the money we appropriated. The facts are we still have 58 homicides, and a number of those homicides are young black males that are toting guns in the city of Baton Rouge. And I think that someone needs to address the fact that we need to have an open discussion among ourselves behind closed doors, the availability of guns, the tracking of guns, the word guns, as I can appreciate it, and I didn't attend all of them, but the 2 hours that the word guns did not come up not one time. Handguns and the availability and the accessibility of those guns and where they come from, we need to start discussing those things and hope that we can resolve it. And it's not in conflict with anybody. This is not my issue. I'm gonna go on record saying right now, the issue was brought to me by somebody. And let me tell you, when you start talking about gun control and guns and the Constitution, I believe in the Constitution. I believe that a man has the right to bear guns. I have mine. You ought to have yours. You understand? So, I'm not against guns, but we need to talk about those who are not of age, who have guns, and who are committing violent crimes in the city of Baton Rouge. So, Mayor, we're not in conflict to you and your committees. We just say we need to focus in on guns in the inner city and those who carry them, and hope that all of the information, as we pool it together, that we can work together and maybe come up with something, identify something that we all, both ends, are not seeing. So, if you'd like to speak, please.
Yeah, just final comments, and I think Attorney Johnson hit the nail on the head when he said he cannot any longer sit idly by as we have our youth killed on the streets. So I encourage, I request that those that have been sitting idly by, please come join us in our effort to stop the crimes on the street. We have been there. We will continue to stay there. Our police department is giving a great effort, but we need the support of all the community to really make this work. So the effort that we have going, we welcome a commission, a committee, whatever that has any suggestions, any effort that they want to make in that area to help us with the effort that we're making. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. All right, we at the end of our agenda, on the item of personal privilege, and I wanted to make sure that I'm in tune as chairman of the council. Reverend Pitcher would like to speak on an item that Councilman Winfield had put on the agenda on the administrative matters on last week, and he asked for an item of personal privilege to do so, and I want to throw it out to the council members. Well, we just no action at all. So, and I don't know if the will of the committee is allow him to speak on that item. If you would like him to speak, we'll give him 3 minutes and only him. So I want to ask what the will of the committee right now. Well, this has something to do with what another council member did, and I want to make sure that I'm in tune as your chairman, not taking advantage of the committee. Okay, it's fine with you? All right. 3 minutes, Reverend Pitcher.
Basically, I think you need to clarify to me what you have a reference to. My main, point here is to address the fact that if, there is to be a committee formed, to address the violence and the crime, it should be more inclusive of the community and not exclusive of the community. I understand that the mayor is stating that he has, led in trying to provide, an apparatus whereby we can address the problem. However, there have not been, any, noticeable input from the community in terms of, measuring the effectiveness of what he has already proposed. I think if there is to be a task force, and that task force should be about the business of trying to gauge or trying to, in some way or another, determine how effective his program has been. In my opinion, there have been some advancements in what he's done and some accomplishments, but for the most part, from my perspective and from the perspective of the people that I talk to every day, there's not been a lot accomplished. I think if we're going to address the problem of crimes and violence in the community, I think it's incumbent upon all of us to come up with things that work. You know, rather than just doing something, let's come up with programs that work. I accept the fact that the tearing down of crack houses is a step in the right direction. However, the fact remains, crack houses are those houses where people live who sell crack. So when you tear down a vacant house, it does absolutely nothing for the people who are selling crack from their houses. In reference to the task force, I submitted a plan to the anti-drug task force, a workable plan that we are presently implementing now. And I did not get any cooperation whatsoever in terms of providing, not only in terms of not providing me assistance in trying to implement the program, but not even in trying to attempt to give us direction as far as supplying equipment. So I question the sincerity of some of the programs that's being implemented in terms of them really being concerned about our problems. Also, I see somewhat of a reluctance on the part of some people here to really address the problem the way it needs to be addressed. I mean, you cannot swat an elephant with a fly swatter. You're going to have to go and find out exactly what needs to be done, and the solution to the problem lies with the people within the community. You can't stand on the outside and tell me how to solve my problems from the community. You have to come to the community and talk to the people. And I don't mean what we have here. You come into the community and you have your meeting, you take your suggestions, you go back. Those you want to accept and act on, you do. Those you don't want to accept and act on, you don't. For the most part, we get nothing but promises. And I'm hoping that if the council is going to form a task force, that they at least give something more than lip service. Thank you.
Councilman Benson.
Glasper, I'm in complete sympathy with what you're attempting to do here. I'm in complete sympathy with this gentleman here in his frustration. I share your frustration. In my district, I have a drug problem. This is in Mayfair. I've been trying, even before I was sworn in, to clear up the problem. I've been out there myself on Operation Takedown, riding at night just like the mayor has, trying to solve it. If you get the impression that we're not trying to solve this, that's totally false. My hesitation right now comes about because up until about 10 minutes ago, I didn't know what Mr. Glasper had in mind. If he has, and Mr. Glasper, I'm fussing at you now. If you've got something that you want to implement, come to each one of us, work with us, we'll work with you. I'm committed to trying to solve this problem. But when you come in here and drop it on our lap and expect us to try to come up with something in 10 or 15 minutes, it's impossible.
Let me just, we're gonna try to close out. I know we've been very long on this whole thing. first of all, I wanna say that nothing was dropped on the council's lap, okay? Forming a task force to look into the problem of handguns, you don't have to take magic to pass a resolution and say, look, we have a problem, all you have to do is look at the homicides and look at the weapon was used, okay? And so, I've been here for 4 years, and I know as a council member, resolutions have been passed without resolution going to anybody, and I'm gonna simply tell you right now, I may have a bad problem of not going and sit down and talk to council members, each and all on the other level of council members, about a resolution. You see, so, next week we'll have a resolution. It's strange that some people have to have a resolution written so that we all can read it in order to vote for it, and other people don't see information until it's presented to us at 4 o'clock, and then we sit there and vote on it and we don't say anything. So, let's get to the heart of the problem. The heart of the problem is we have a problem with handguns. And again, the word is guns in the inner city, and we want to have an open discussion. My mind is not closed. I want to have an open discussion and involve those who live in the fear and live in the community to have an input in what we should do and how we should attack the problem as government, since they're the ones who finance government. They're the taxpayers. So they should have an open voice and have an open discussion, like they have had in other meetings with the mayor and other task force. So as we move, we will have something that you can read and feel and touch, and then we hope that we can pass it, and then we'll form a committee. So with that, we ask any other comments from any other council members, and Ms. Benham, I appreciate you fussing at me, and I'll get my house in order, and I'll give you something so you can read and touch and feel. Okay, any other council members? Councilwoman E.
I just gonna say again what I said a minute ago. I wanna be sure that we include, the police chief and Mike Morris particularly, because if you remember the night that we all met, he said to you what you had been doing was very effective, and you all said you didn't know that. And I think if you all get to talking together, he knows what you were doing, and he knows it was effective. That's the way we need to go and work with it.
Okay. Do we have a motion to adjourn? We have a motion to adjourn by Councilman Committee.